Welcome everybody to the SideQuest Live, where we are playing HQ Media at the same time. What's it called? HQ Media? I don't know even.
HQ Trivia.
HQ Trivia. Sorry, why did I say media? I'm Dolly Domofsky. That lovely voice was Aaron Scruddy Bones Kelly.
Hey, you want to hear something great?
Mm-hmm.
So about 45 seconds before we started, I got
a music question.
I got fuck. I didn't answer anything, but I got a free pass. I don't care. I got a news alert that there was a container ship on fire off the coast that was Halifax bound.
Oh my god!
Which in general is not great. So the first thing I do is go to Reddit, and it's the top thread, and the top post, of course, is somebody in all caps, acknowledge, and then the first reply is, "Come on, Vince." I'm like, all right, Halifax, you know what's up. There's not a person in this country, well, in this half of the country.
Candies called Canada Mints have a shape that resembles maple leaves.
Fuck if I know. I picked hot dogs.
Bagels. I don't know. Oh, you messed me up. Who cares?
Yeah, there's not a person in this half of the country that has not seen that commercial.
It's a great commercial. They were hockey pucks. Damn it! I remember them.
Are you out?
I'm out. I picked
maple leaves. Everybody picked maple leaves.
Everybody did.
Yeah, so anyway, there's a container ship on fire as of 9 hours ago. Somebody else asked, any explosives?
Yeah.
No explosives on board, right? Anyway, how you doing?
I'm fantastic. Also, Sam, how's it going? Sam's here.
Oh, yeah. I missed, I believe I was traveling for last show. I don't remember. It's been a couple weeks, right? I think I haven't been on for like 2 shows or so.
Since at least 2018.
Well, yeah.
It's been a long
time. Did that joke
time.
ever get old?
No. I mean, at best, it could get a year old, and then it wouldn't. You change it, and it would be brand new again.
Yeah, I've been trying to avoid you guys all year, but here I am, 4 days into it.
You sound like you're just thrilled to be on the show, Sam.
I actually just woke up from a nap, man.
I was ready to fall asleep. But...
Travel's been killing me. I'm just trying to get
you gotta get that Bucknell money.
Yeah, I know. We just had our first basketball game of the new year yesterday, and we've got wrestling this weekend. And man, I don't know. I feel like I could just sleep through them. I don't need to be there. No, we got to move some equipment and get some new stuff checked in. Because as with all new years, it's new things and new people and new stuff you have to get done.
Oh, hey, also congrats, Sam.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, I guess. That's just catching the world up to where our like public discourse has been for probably about the past 2 years.
Yep.
You flip a switch on Facebook and everybody loses their mind.
And you're like, wait, shit, I thought that was known.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like I've been like active. Like it's not like it's been a secret or anything. We've kind of just been actively talking about it. Hell, I think I was even actively talking about it with Ryan like 4 years ago at PAC.
Yeah.
But yeah, you flip one switch on Facebook, and now all of a sudden everybody wants to talk to you.
You're everybody's friend and family.
Yeah, and gets disappointed when you're not as excited as they are. That's the one thing I've learned. Hey, if you want to disappoint people, announce an engagement and don't seem as excited as they think you should be. And also, when they ask to see the ring, tell them that there is no ring, and they get so upset.
You get the questions. So, did you guys pick a date yet? Do you guys know where you're gonna have it? Are you guys moving in together? All those stupid questions.
Yeah, I replaced the "so when are you guys getting married," which I've had question for about the past 4 years with now needing to know every single detail, and also feeling bad that there are people that ask about like, you know, what are you going to do for your wedding? And they don't know that they are definitely not going to be invited. And it feels kind of bad, but at the same time, it's like slightly funny.
Yeah. So when's it going to be? What date should I prepare for?
Do I need to RSVP?
Yeah, we'll have a live webinar for everybody to watch that can't make it in person. You know, hit us up on Justin TV and Vimeo. Is that still a site?
Periscope is still around, right?
Yeah, you can donate to me on Venmo, and
a coffee at Ko-fi.
Kofi, yeah, we'll get it set up. No, I don't know. 2020 as of right now is like the only like tentative plan that we have, and it won't be in a church. And that's about all I got for you.
The next time somebody asks you, like, "Oh, would you guys pick a date yet?" You should say, "We already got married," and they'll say, "Already?" You say, "Well, she's pregnant." And when they ask, "Wow," just say, "Well, it's not mine."
Yeah. I was checking the temperature of like how upset people would get if you got married and then just throw like a big reception at some point. And turns out the answer is a lot. That would make people a lot mad if you got married and then just had a reception. They're like think about if you had a kid and you opened all the Christmas gifts for them and then sat them down and was like, "Here's Christmas," like the morning of. I'm like, I don't think that's equivalent at all, but okay.
Weddings are weird, man.
You can never make anybody happy. I dated my partner for 7 years. That didn't make people happy. You get engaged and you didn't get engaged the right way. That didn't make people happy. I'm gonna get married and I'm not gonna get married the right way, and people are gonna get mad about it.
My the owner of the store that I run decided that he wanted to hire a new employee, basically as like a floater, like somebody who wasn't like a full-time employee but could be called in if any of the employees like wanted to take a day off or had to go to the doctor or something like that. She's been working in his store and like training and learning all the inventory, and then she's been working in my store and training and learning all the inventory and stuff. And we're sitting there last week at some point, and she goes something. She says something, and then she kind of throws in, "And then my fiance something," and I go, "Wait, what?" She goes, "Oh yeah, I'm engaged," and I go, "What?" Because she's like 22 or something like that. She's really young. And I was like, "Really?" And she's like, "Yeah, we've been together for like 7 months and we were supposed to get married next week, but he pushed the date until February." And I was like, "You're not wearing a ring." And she's like, "Oh, he hasn't bought me a ring yet." I'm just like, "And you guys are engaged?" "Oh, yeah." It's like, uh-huh.
I don't know. You still getting married, whatever speed you want to. No one will listen to me. It took us 7 years of dating, and we're gonna get married. And I've known people that have been married for 2 odd years, and they knew each other for like 6 months before that. And I don't know. It depends. It works out for different people. And as I said, no one will tell you that you're like correct or whatever. I was told like a week ago that I was getting married too young. I'm almost 30. I'm 2 years away from being 30. When is too old? Or when is not young enough? Like people suck, man. That's what it comes down to. If 2018 taught me anything, people suck, and you just do you.
I'm pretty old fashioned, I guess, but I don't really have an age that you should wait to get married until. But I definitely think that you should be with somebody for at least a year. Like,
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, like try dating for an extended period of time, because eventually you're gonna find something that drives you batty about the other one. Like, at least don't get married until you know whether or not you can handle somebody as shitty as they can possibly be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big supporter of you should probably live with a person before, you decide to like get married and then move in, and it turns out you hate living with each other, and it's impossible to do it. So you should get that out of the way. I'm also very old-fashioned too. We're not getting married until my 25 goats show up as payment. So I can be warm. Me and my family can be warm in the winters. So
you get all that fresh milk.
All that fresh goat's milk. I will say goat's cheese is actually pretty good. But yeah. Yeah, I guess that's exciting news at the end of the year. As I said, it's just catching everybody else up. So welcome to the thing we've been discussing for 2 odd years. Now you get to know.
Did I tell you the thing that I had to try very hard not to say to you on Facebook?
No, what are you gonna say?
I don't use Facebook. But my store's Facebook page is connected to my account, so I have to have a Facebook account. So I logged in the day of your announcement, and the very first thing I saw was your Facebook announcement, and I don't think there were any comments. Like, it was like as you made it, I think.
Oh, probably. We flipped the switch at like 5:30 a.m. before we went to bed, just as a goof.
So I saw it, and I was like, I just want I just want to comment and say, hey, how's the butt guts? And I was just looking at it. I think I might have said it in the work Discord, but I was just looking at it for probably 10 minutes at work, not doing anything. Just be like, I could just do it. I probably should. I probably shouldn't do it. I could do
just
it.
Talk about his guts.
How is the butt guts, by the way?
Good. They shove a camera down my throat in like 2 days. I think Monday. I have to check the date on that.
Does it come out of your butt?
No, hopefully not. They're getting pretty deep if they shove the camera in all the way there. No, I think
miles of camera.
Yeah, I think they think it's
fetish. I'm pretty sure.
They think it's either my stomach or my upper
intestine.
Yeah, intestines. So they don't need to go. They don't need to go too deep.
Your
but
GI
I think
tract.
If they don't find anything that direction, I think the plan then will be to go the other way.
The way you explain it is just beautiful.
I'm very curious. I'm very curious to know which of us gets better first.
I don't know. And Dolly, I only explain it in what is exactly going to happen. I don't need a doctor's like fluff piece to tell me what's going to happen.
Well, I'm 40 now, so I got to go get a whole bunch of stuff done to me.
Yeah. The thing I admitted like a while ago, because I was a very sickly child, is like, if it's going to help me, I don't care if it's like any form of public embarrassment and or like pain or torture. Like if I get electrocuted for 20 minutes, but that means like my back doesn't hurt for 2 years afterwards, like sign me the fuck up. So like, I'm one of those people where it's like I've gotten, I guess this is just going to be Sam's medical podcast now. I've had to get ultrasounds before, and I've had them on my balls. And if you think getting an ultrasound is weird enough, like try having one on your nuts.
Hey, listen, friend. I not only have had that done, I then had to go have one of my balls savaged by a scalpel.
Yeah. So like when the doctor's just like, okay, I'm gonna need you to drop trout, and I'm just gonna shove this camera near your testicles, like, you just gotta get used to that type of thing and being okay with your gross body needing to have gross things done to it to make sure it's not so gross.
Yeah, I would have. I was incredibly thankful for the amount of pain that I was in when I had it done, because the attending physician who was doing the ultrasound was insanely attractive. Like, this is gonna go real bad, but I hurt so badly right now. I don't think I got to worry about it. Just get it done. Get it done. It's really cold. Get it done. Did they use the gel?
They always use the gel.
Yeah.
It's there for your pleasure. And also because I think it's needed for the sensors. I could be wrong, though.
I don't know how it works.
I don't know. They shoot images through your body with radiation or something. We're all going to die.
We're sick. We're sick, and Dally's old. That's the side quest.
Which is its own illness.
There you go. Yeah. Very good. Well, let's actually talk about video games for a change instead of butt guts and hacking testicles and stuff. Medical hour is over.
Is it? You don't want to talk about what you got coming up?
No, not yet. Not till I go fucking do it. Anyways, video games are more interesting, and we have a lot to talk about after our award-winning podcast from last week, and which was our Game of the Year podcast. Congratulations again to Spider-Man. Decided to talk about our sort of predictions and hopes for 2019. Spider-Man 2. I thought that could be a fun episode. And wherever Tom is, who said he was able, he's actually switching cars right now with his girl. So he's going to try to join us as soon as he can. And Katie is off seeing Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, so she's going to try to get.
I have seen it twice now.
Oh, you have? I remember you saw it the first time.
Yep.
You saw it the second time. Now, good. And you loved it, I think.
Yeah. Oh man, it's awesome. Yeah, it's so good. That might be the first movie I ever buy on home media.
Oh wow! Ooh. Sam, have you seen it?
I've not seen Spider-Man's, but I have seen one of the other cultural zeitgeists right now, which is Bandersnatch.
Oh,
okay. I haven't. Tell me about Bandersnatch because I'm only a little ways through it.
Have you ever read A Choose Your Own Adventure?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Well, then you've seen Bandersnatch. It's actually kind of a not that interesting story, at least from the aspects I've seen.
It's about a video game.
Yeah, is it a video game? Is it not a video game? Who knows? What I can tell you is it's kind of not that interesting. It's very hallway-ish, like a lot of dead ends and a lot of like you know, oh, this path didn't go back, so let's go back, and now you can choose what path you want. So you can basically like kind of just let it autoplay, and it'll just choose scenarios until it reaches a dead end and go back and keep playing until it keeps reaching dead ends and going back and whatnot.
And the way they do it is like the main character in the film will say something like, "No, I've got to go back. I've got to go back," and then it'll just rewind to another shot.
Allegedly, and I don't know how much of this is truth and how much is hyperbole of people that just don't know like what sort of technology goes into this, but I've been hearing like some crazy stuff like, you know, that if you choose one answer and you go back and you choose the other, or you choose the same again, different stuff happens. And there's supposedly like infinite like timelines. And like, you know, there's choices where if you play the game, if you play through one way and go back and play it again, it'll be like completely different and stuff like that.
I heard there were 17 billion permutations.
Yeah, some nonsense like that. And part of me says like, that is clearly an overestimate. And how many of those ending permutations are the same thing with like two things changed? Or the other question of like how much of that matters if there's no real story to it. Like I messed around with it for like an hour and a half, and the most that I got out of the story was this guy's having a really hard time mentally dealing with writing this game of his. It's nice and whatnot to have a choose your own adventure story, but if the story doesn't lead to anything or doesn't matter, what's the point of choosing my way through it? So I just didn't really like it. I don't know. I think it's worth experiencing, but if I'm supposed to be playing it 50 times over, the first couple should have been enjoyable for me to want to keep doing it.
So those types of things, because there's a couple of them on Netflix, right? Like there's that, and there's the Minecraft one.
Right.
Yeah, there's a couple of other like interactive things. I think this is the first.
There's like kids shows too, I think, on there.
Yeah, I think there's like, you know, where it's like, oh, choose if Milo like climbs the stairs or takes the bridge, you know, something like that, where, you know, it's going to eventually lead to the same thing anyway. Yeah, and I think 9 times out of 10, your choices are going to lead to the same thing here in Bandersnatch too. I just don't understand that if I'm supposed to be watching it numerous times, there's no indication in the experience that tells me I should be doing that. And if I didn't have fun with it, it goes back to our like discussion we've had with video games, is telling me that the first 30 hours sucks, but then the 60 after that is great. Like I'm not going to watch the same shitty movie 20 times to watch a version of that movie that might be a little better.
Right.
So, yeah.
I'm not going to watch the episode of, or the version of Bird Box where they get out of the box.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch the episode of Bird Box where everybody's upside down and they don't wear masks. Sandra Bullock, I know what you're doing in there.
You're pooping.
You're pooping.
But they so if you boot that up and you just let it sit, it auto picks choices, right?
Yeah. Correct.
Does it auto pick the same choice every time?
No, it's one of those things where I think it'll choose like, you know, it always defaults to left or right or something like that. And it might actually have different default choices depending on the question. I don't actually know. I didn't really try to like, you know, break it and deconstruct it. But yeah, it'll auto choose because I asked when we first experienced it, the person that was running it, I asked them to just not choose to see if no choice was a choice, and it forced a choice. So I don't know if that was for that specific question to force a choice or if it will force a choice on every single one.
Like one of the first choices is, do you want sugar snaps or do you want Frosted Flakes cereal? And it's a simple thing like that. And then another one is, do you want to listen to the Now That's What I Call Music 11 cassette, or do you want to listen to a Simple Minds cassette? I mean, it's that it's kind of smaller level stuff until, you know, a little ways in, then you'll get some things that start to really affect the storyline.
So is it a horror?
Yeah,
No.
yes and no.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be as scary as you want. The pretense of like not being in control of your own mind and decisions can be, I guess. It does suffer from a little bit of, I'm just going to call it Bethesda problem, where there's something on screen and you click it, but the action that plays out isn't exactly like what you thought would play out with that action. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, like pick up the book, but and you're like, oh, he's gonna pick up the book and take it with him, but then like pick up the book is like pick up the book, and then like picks it up and he looks at it and then he like chucks it across the room. You're like, well, I didn't want him to chuck it across the room. I wanted him to keep the book. So that's not a specific example, but it has stuff like that in it, which I know can be aggravating.
Yeah, I tried a little bit of it, and I haven't gotten all the way through yet. I'm like maybe halfway through the thing, and I always forget the point that I'm at, so I have to like keep restarting. However, I found that if you just fast forward, you keep hitting tapping the fast forward button on there, you'll get to it'll like stop at the next question that's in the place, so you can make it through without missing a question.
It seems like most people have like already reverse engineered like a couple of the like good quote unquote endings, like to see the most of the story, you take this route. So and I'm sure that more and more of that will slowly like leak out within like the coming weeks. I'm sure somebody will find some path to, get to some special thing or something. And somebody had mentioned that they think that they are changing it on the fly, that Netflix is like updating routes and like changing pathways. So like, the same choice today might not cause the same outcome come February or something. So we'll see. I don't know. It's interesting. I think that the choose your own adventure with film and narrative really needs to take off more. We kind of have it with games and stuff already, especially with VR. But I think now we're in a world where everything is sort of DIY and create your own and edit and remix things to the way that you want them. Having interactive version of Tall Tale games seems like those are just right around the corner for film.
Right. Yep. Yep. I almost wonder if this technology was something that came from that Netflix collaboration with Telltale.
Well, I don't know. So I had originally been under the impression that that's where it came from. Like that was the thing for Minecraft story mode. But I can't remember where I read, but I had thought that they had something on there before that they just never talked about. Like something along these same lines. So I don't know. They might have come up with it themselves? Question mark. Me and John Netflix aren't on speaking terms right now. So.
Well, let's get into some predictions then. Do you want to talk about anything else we've been playing? I'll talk about something we've been playing. Let's do.
I do have one thing to talk about.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mentioned it in the work Discord, and people might have seen it on Twitter, but your friend and mine, Jeffrey Grubb, is putting together a New Year's eco game. If anybody caught our Game of the Year list, it was in my quote-unquote #1 spot. It was his #1 spot. And we've talked about it off and on Twitter for the past year. When we played it last time, I think at the peak amount of players we had was something like 20 maybe. And this time I think he's in contact with the developers, Strange Loop Games, I think they're called. I'd need to double check just to make sure I didn't get it right. But anyway, I believe that they are going to host a server, and he's aiming to get like 50 or more people on the server. Because last time we just had the crew of us and there was one town, but it's a whole planet basically. And so I think his idea is he wants to get enough people that people will be forced to spread out for resources and start making their own towns and maybe compete at that scale. But yeah, I just want to talk about that a little bit because this time it's not just our crew. Invites are going out. I'm pretty sure everyone in the SideQuest and Discord has at least seen it now. He's pulling in a lot of the people that used to play in the PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds games that we used to play with media and their associated fans. So that includes a lot of streamers too. So this might be a very somewhat interactive event this time around.
I missed the Game of the Year discussion. I saw the thing you sent to us about the game. What like other than like I know it's like a little bit of a survival and like a town building game. What sort of like gameplay is Echo?
So picture Minecraft, except
squares.
Yep, kind of actually. Not squares, but chunks. That doesn't look as stylized as Minecraft. Like you look at Minecraft, you know it's Minecraft basically. You look at this and it's a little maybe hard to tell what it is. Not that it's ugly, it's just not super distinct because all of their work went into making like a fully fleshed out reactive like ecology and a fully player driven economy. So there are currencies that you can make. Like you can make a mint and start a currency, and that introduces capitalism, and everybody can have a storefront, and you can sell stuff in your storefront. You can set the prices, and that that drives the economy. And you can hunt animals and cut down trees, but if you cut down a forest, like it don't grow back, so you have to be very careful so you don't run out of resources. You hunt animals to extinction; they don't come back.
So it's weirdly like advanced settlement, like farmer simulator.
And the big caveat of the game is that on default settings, you spawn in the world with basically nothing, and then you look up in the sky, and there's a giant asteroid that's like slowly, like it's coming at you, and it's like orbiting the planet, but you know the planet rotates, so it's not actually orbiting; it's just coming at you. It's got a little counter below it. So it'll be like 29 days, 59 hours, 59 minutes till this thing hits. And so you have to basically get up like tech-wise to being able to build giant ass lasers basically to shoot this asteroid out of the sky so it doesn't blow up your planet. But as you tech up through there's 20 or 30 or 40 or 50, some kind of crazy skills. Every time you pick a skill, the next different skill you get gets exponentially more expensive. So you can't get all the skills, you have to specialize. And so that's where the economy comes into play, because maybe only 1 or 2 people can make bricks, and you need to make buildings out of bricks so that they count as like level 2 buildings, and so that you can make level 2 crafts in them. And so you'll have to buy the bricks from somebody, but maybe you can make like maybe the only person like I was that can make rugs, and rugs are used to decorate houses, which get you more skill points, and everybody wants those. Stuff like that.
Okay, that's cool.
It's very, 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 very interesting. It's also very non-intuitive to learn.
So basically, from the sounds of it, it's one of those things where if you want your characters and this world to exist, it sort of forces you to work with the other people on the server, but still wants you to also try to be the best player on the server, because if there's an economy, clearly there's somebody that can rule that economy and like be the leader and stuff like that.
Pretty much. The way that they mitigate this to an extent is everybody who's on any given server is provided, I believe, by one of the in-game prompts with a link to a website, which is a web interface hosted by, I guess, the game company, but I suppose whoever's hosting the server would host this. And in that, you can elect a mayor, but you can also propose laws, and all the laws are like based on like if-then statements. So it's like, if player wants to cut down trees at location, deny them. And so you can protect the environment like that. If player wants to make a mint, deny them the ability to make a mint. Stuff like that. So if you can assemble like voting blocks basically and get shit passed to prevent somebody from taking over if you want, if they're not good enough to get their own voting block. It's crazy. It's a wild game.
I mean, that sounds rad. Like I definitely want to, and this is in early access, Echo?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
okay.
It's in early access, and the reason that it's so interesting is because it's not really a video game in the sense that we tend to think of video games. I believe it was designed primarily as like an education tool, like to be used in classrooms and stuff. Like they sell like an education pack where you can buy like 30 keys at once or whatever for a classroom.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it would be a great way to teach like just basic kind of economics And even in my, I think it was middle school. It might have been younger elementary school than that. But we had what was called Community Day, I think it was. And each schoolroom had like a storefront or some type of business that they had. And, certain hours during the day, you had to work your class's business. And then you got to go around and see everybody else's, or like maybe, one class had like a movie theater, but they were showing episodes of like the Rugrats or whatever, and you could pay like $1 to go sit in there for an hour and watch the Rugrats. So yeah, that would be really cool to get kids to learn. I don't want to talk about the game for too long because I'm sure you guys went over it a bunch during the Game of the Year podcast. But yeah, that sounds cool. I'm always like all these games like Rust and like DayZ. And even PUBG to an extent sound great, and they always sound like something I would love to be like interested in and love to get to experience, but they always sound like they have like a very high barrier to entry. And this one sounds like it might have a high barrier to entry, but the fact that you have to work together, it benefits people for you to know what you're doing. So like it benefits them to help you as much as possible. It sounds like. I could be wrong, haven't played it, but
no, you're totally right. And the other aspect of the game is that you can't kill each other. Like you can fight animals like to hunt them and stuff like that. But as far as I remember, there's no combat in the game. So it's not like Rust or PUBG or anything like that, where it's like, oh, we're going to work together, but also you can be shot or you can be stabbed and killed, removed from the game. It's just like you're working to get rid of this asteroid, and everybody's going to have to specialize, and we're all going to have to work together. But if somebody gets a little greedy, then it makes things a little tense.
Well, that's cool, man. I hope it looks like the group here is discussing that it's $30 on Steam. So I might, even if I don't get in with you guys, I might actually just hop on and try to click around and see what I can do, see what type of craziness I can do. Because it even sounds like that would be fun, because you mentioned that you can't kill each other. I don't know if there's any damage system or anything like that. But I wonder if there's like there's got to be some levels of trolling that people have already discovered.
Oh, absolutely. There's toxic waste.
Yeah, that's you don't even have to say more. Like, that sounds great. I'm so interested in like finding that system out. And like, again, like I'm totally the type of player that I would love to work together and do that type of stuff. But what we call it is nice social horseplay whenever we're out playing games with my group of friends. A little rogue grenade goes off in the corner and no one calls it out, and it scares everybody. Just a little horseplay. That's fine. No harm, no foul. Just a little screwing around. Yeah,
when I play Gmod, like Terrorist Town or anything like that, with my D&D group, I'll freak the hell out of them because I'll use those discombobulator grenades, the ones that send you flying but don't hurt you. Like, I'll just chuck them and land them beside people, and they'll get shot, and they'll be like, "Ah, what the fuck?" I'm just like, "Yeah, it's a friendship grenade."
It's a friendship grenade.
Yeah, just a little horseplay. What, you're not into horseplay? Group's not into horseplay anymore.
Hey, you're not in horseplay. Come on.
But yeah, so that's gonna be wild. I think the original date for starting, I want to say, was maybe January 23rd. And I think Jeff's thinking about trying to do it a little bit earlier, maybe January 15th or something like that.
Dope.
Yeah. So that's going to be a thing. And a bunch of us, I'm sure, are going to be streaming it. So get ready for that.
Keep an eye on it. I might get in on it. We'll see. Have you been playing anything specific? Anything else?
I've been playing a lot of Slay the Spire.
Okay.
I mean, that game's still as good as ever. They just released official mod support. So if you boot up the game, like, you can enable play with mods, and the mods are crazy because people are adding like characters and stuff like that. People are adding things to make it harder. So that's like a cool game. I haven't written anything yet, but I think I've put in a shitload of hours into Dawn of Man.
Okay. What's Dawn of Man?
So Dawn of Man is the second game by the developer of the game Planet Base, which I think I have a review up on SideQuesting for. He sent me a key. I think he might have sent keys to everybody that reviewed or looked up Planet Base before. It's okay. It's super early access. There's a lot of bugs. It's very much Planet Base, except set in caveman times instead of space. So yeah, it's good.
Cool. Sam, have you been playing anything lately?
Not really. I've been playing the traveling game.
The traveling, it's true. You have been.
The holidays. Hey, Happy New Year, everybody.
Oh yeah, Happy New Year!
I don't know if we said that. Yesterday, my talent kept saying like, "Welcome to a great bout on New Year's Day" or whatever. I'm like, 3 days after New Year. But yeah, no, it's still the new year. I haven't seen you guys since 2019. But no, I mean, I've played a little bit. I took my Switch with me. I was in Philly for the New Year's. Took my Switch. We played a bunch of Mario Party. Man, Mario Party, great game. Wrote about it for my game of the year. Surprisingly, way more into Mario Party than I thought I would be.
You mentioned it. You threw that up on your in your top 5 of the year.
I don't know. It's like even every Mario Party is decent, even the Wii U one. They can be worth turning on for one game session and just playing.
What about the ones that came with a microphone?
Yeah, I mean they're still at their core, like they still have decent Mario Party mini games that were ripoffs from like other Mario Party games. So like of course there's always like the general like fun of Mario Party, but there's something about this one that I think is I feel like normal rounds take longer to play. Like an entire 10-turn game takes longer. But I think the experience of playing it is much better. It's almost like what they did for Pokemon Moon and Sun, where they made the franchise new, but also made it really familiar and sort of nostalgic for people that had played the originals, like had played Red and Blue. So this one, they have the normal 10 turns, they have the normal characters that are there, even though Donkey Kong is weirdly a hidden character. Like he's not one of the normal, or not.
That's right. He has to be unlocked. Yeah,
he has to be unlocked, which seems weird. Like Donkey Kong is like a core character in every Nintendo game. Like I wonder why they chose this game for him to be locked behind.
So wait, if you unlock Donkey Kong as a playable character, what happens to the allies? Because he's an ally, right?
He is.
Can you be Donkey Kong and get Donkey Kong as an ally?
No, you can't. If you're playing as one of the characters, the allies, you can't. Like, if I'm playing as Rosalina, you can't get a Rosalina ally.
Oh, I didn't realize that the ally characters were also playable characters.
Yeah, some of them are. I think some of them might not be playable characters, but all the playable characters can also be acquired as allies. Yeah, if any of your characters aren't being played, they can be acquired as allies, and their dice blocks can be acquired. But I think the allies is like another thing is I didn't mention it in my game of the year stuff, but there's like mini games where those allies get called in, and those allies are essentially useless. There's like one where it's like, oh, you get a whack-a-mole mallet and be the last one surviving, and they all have mallets, but they're just basically warm bodies to stand in between people. And they don't even do a great job of that because they'll split up and cause a hole straight to you. So I don't know. There's enough of that game where you can strategize, but like none of that matters because it's Mario Party. And I think we've got to the zeitgeist at least of people that are like the 20 to 30 year range that have been playing Mario Party for enough now that know that like in the end, Mario Party doesn't matter. Like you basically only have about a 40% influence on what the ending of the game actually is.
You get to those last 5 turns, and it's going to do that Mario Party magic.
Well, it's always like
it's like, go ahead.
Oh, and in this one, I think it's turn the last second to last or third to last turn. They always do that. Let's look at the scores and see who is doing the best out of who's playing. And usually they always choose last place and they get a free item or they get some dumb stuff. It's like, oh, we think third place is going to win.
When they started doing that, they used to call it chump change and they give you a bunch of money.
Yeah. They're not as passive aggressive about you doing poorly in this game. And even, it's now 10 coins to get a star instead of 20. Stealing a star feels less like thievery and more of like, oh, I got you. Like,
because you can get stars all over the place now. In this one.
they also added a whole bunch of other modes. There's like 4-player co-op mode. There's team mode. I haven't unlocked it yet, but I believe there's a single player only mode. And all of those games have mini games. And I don't know. There's a lot of stuff to do. Online mode sucks, but as with all Nintendo products, it's a product to play with people present right next to you. Doesn't matter what your skill level is. Just hang out and dick around. And unlike Smash, there's no way to play Mario Party at a skill level that blows away your competition. Where Smash, like, you can get to a skill level that playing with other people without like certain rules and restrictions, you're gonna win every time. But man, yeah, Mario Party's great, and it's so easy to learn. You only need 4 of those Joy-Cons. You can buy the game coming with 2 Joy-Cons.
Have either of you looked at Pummel Party yet?
No,
I have not.
The Pummel Party. Pummel Party is a game that is on Steam, and it's like violent Mario Party, basically. And I don't have anybody to play it.
I'm checking it out right now. Have you played it? Oh my god, they're like these fighting.
I've watched a bunch of videos on it. It came out in September, but it's straight up just like it's board game Mario Party. There's mini games, and the mini games are appear to range from like straight up Mario Party games to kind of shitty, but
then you have like satanic symbols and it's nice.
They replace the stars with other stuff, but and then there's like
their
version of Bad Luck Spaces have you being attacked, and you have a health bar. And anyway, I want to play it. We should play it.
It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. We can take. There's even like some FPS modes in there too. Wow.
Yeah, we could make a video.
We can do that. Yeah. That's how we do reviews at SideQuesting. We do videos. We never get them done.
That never get published. Hey,
published.
Hey, let's pull the curtain back while we're looking at while we're working at the Wizard of Oz monster right now. So let's talk about how I recorded that video with Tom. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Forgot his name because he's never here. I say that he's been here for the last 2 podcasts and I haven't been. So, but I recorded that video with Tom for Valkyria Chronicles, and the video's fine, but my audio sounds like I was like shouting the whole time and just real bad. So I don't know. We also have to re-record the ending to that because I accidentally say the wrong thing. I say the opposite of what I mean, which makes it sound like the game is horrible and bad.
So for what people say, people want to know, Sam said, I am not a Nazi, but what he really meant was I am a Nazi.
Oh yeah. That's what I meant. No, I said something about like, I forget what the exact quote was, but I was like, what did I say? Like, you can't do much worse than Valkyria Chronicles or something like that. And there's no way to cut the audio without like obviously like cutting it, because I didn't mix my audio differently than the game audio, like an idiot, like a sucker who doesn't do this for a living. So I need to mess around with my setup. I need to do so many things. The good news is I finally got everything working. Nice. From an input standpoint and all that stuff. So hopefully that will get made. Hey, guess what? Like, there's so many videos that need to get done. I have so much footage.
Speaking of getting everything ready and finally fixed and stuff, the reason it was only Sam and Tom in that video is because the day we were going to record it got rescheduled. The day that we rescheduled it to got rescheduled that day because things just kept coming up. The day that we finally, all 3 of us were going to record it, I got home from work and my computer didn't boot for 6 hours.
Oh.
Yep.
Womp womp. It's bad. It's bad. We did real bad for a while there. As soon as I get done with this phone call, actually, I'm like cleaning my house and like reorganizing my desk and getting everything from like the physical workflow situation taken care of, because I had made my house nice for like people to come over
for the holidays. Yeah. Oh, okay. Wow.
And and then like Thanksgiving, and then like all I did was work and travel for like the beginning of December, and then I haven't been home probably since December 27th. So my house has gone to shit. So I just need to clean everything and get everything back to neutral in my life, and then content can finally start coming out.
Hey, speaking of things coming out, you guys hear about this Hogwarts poop?
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I just heard about that. My daughter was crushed when she found out.
What's the down low?
So today is National Trivia Day, which is another made up social media day, and the Harry Potter Twitter account, or what is it?
The
Pottermore Twitter account said, "Hey, for National Trivia Day, here's a good one," or something like that. They said in the 1800s, before they adopted Muggle toilets, wizards and witches used to just poop and go to the bathroom wherever they wanted to, and use their vanishing powers to make it disappear. So they would shit themselves.
They would just shit on the floor in Hogwarts, and they would just magic it away.
Someone made a good point that vanishing isn't something you learn until your 5th year. So years 1 through 4, the teachers had to make student poop disappear.
And also, that doesn't it's like, all right, I'm gonna shit on the floor right here and then vanish it. People are still gonna smell it until you vanish it. You're not gonna vanish it until you're done pooping, right?
Yeah, right.
But my counter to Dally too is like you would think, like, do they teach it in like 5th year because like they don't need it before then now? Like, you know, like it's not like you're potty trained when you're 12. You're potty trained earlier because you need to be potty trained earlier. Did they teach were you taught that spell earlier because you needed it?
No, I think you're actually taught in 5th year, supposedly. I don't know. I read it on like Harry Potter fan fiction.
I just really need the details, okay? If I'm going to send my children to Hogwarts.
That's amazing. Let's see. I've actually played something. I finally finished Mario. What's it called again? Mario Tennis Aces. So I'm on this kick where I'm just kind of completing games left and right. So I finished Mario Tennis Aces. I finished Pokemon Let's Go. And then I played Gris, which worked its way into my top 5. I last week's episode, I said it was a really cool game, but it just kind of barely missed out. Oh, after I finished that game, that was firmly in my 5 favorites, because every screenshot you take is a beautiful piece of art in that game. I don't know if have you guys had a chance to play it at all? I think it might be on Steam as well. No,
that's one of the ones that I need to get to.
It's like 2 hours long. It's only a couple hours long.
Yeah, I think I told you this on Twitter. Like, I have a list longer of, like, I had a list of all the games that I liked this year, and it only had like 6 on it. And then I had a list of games that I still needed to either play more of or finish this year. Mm-hmm. That's like probably about 3 times that long.
Exactly.
I'm really worried that like Celeste, Gris, and like other things like that on that list are going to be way better than the games that I put in my top 5. Like, I almost feel like I should put another post. It's like, this would be like, you know, hit Sam up in 6 months, and this is his actual top 5.
Celeste is real good. I don't think it didn't make my top 5. It was almost, actually, it may have been in my top 5, and I yanked it out. Yeah, it's Grix is it's fantastic. I would, if you haven't, then just check it out. By the way, hello to Izul and hello to Ryan. Ryan says, "Who's mad at each other over here? I need my Valkyria Chronicles update. Hit me."
Hey, he got it.
He says, and then a long diatribe about Persona rhythm game song prices. And then he asked me, how do you finish Mario Tennis? Mario Tennis actually has an adventure mode, a single player adventure mode, which is, it's all right. And then, yeah, so that's there you go, Ryan. But it's so Gris is fantastic, and I would highly recommend playing it. It's really good. And I've just started Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, which, yeah, Crash Bandicoot games aren't good. I'm sorry, everybody. They're not good games, dudes. I'm sorry, my fam. They're really bad. The perspective, it's like, this is 2018. It's 2019, actually. Sorry about that. I'm leaving a year off there. And it's very, the problem I have with remasters is that they're not remakes, and remasters just kind of pretty up games. And if the game's already kind of control bad and they don't have, they're missing some stuff. Like, there's some really bad, I mean, maybe this is just a Switch version, I don't know. I was playing in handheld mode. some of the stuff is just it's not easy to control. I'm like falling off into rivers, but I know that this game came out like soon after Mario 64, the original Crash Bandicoot. And I remember going into like electronics boutique at the time, and the guy there telling me how much better Crash Bandicoot is than Mario 64, because it's just, look at the style of gameplay. I mean, you can go forward and you can do side-scrolling levels, which Mario 64 doesn't have. And oh, by the way, this is a Bandicoot, way cooler than Mario. And so I brought up, well, Mario is a cartridge game, which there's no loading. Yeah, that doesn't make a difference here, because back then, the disc is constantly spinning in Crash Bandicoot, which means it's always loading. So, haha, Mario. I'm thinking this is like the worst argument. The game has not held up. So, first Crash Bandicoot game in Insane Trilogy so far feels really dated, even with the pseudo updated visuals. I'm actually looking forward to Spyro, because it seems like they actually took their time with Spyro and redid the game as opposed to just run a highlighter over it
and put a skeleton flossing in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or it wasn't there before. Apparently, I don't know.
So far, it's Crash Bandicoot.
It wasn't flossing back in like 1997 or whenever that game came out.
What?
Yeah, it's true. It was just wiping your ass.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about
predictions.
2019 predictions. So 2018 disappeared. Thankfully, good riddance in 2019. Now we did like an E3 predictions episode, and we got a few things right. Who was it? Like Aaron, was it you that got like the majority of shit right?
I think I got one wrong, and the one wrong was on a technicality.
It was a technicality, yeah. So I'm looking to you to make some great predictions for 2019.
So the E3 predictions. E3 is something I think about a lot.
I'm thinking about it right now, actually.
I'm always thinking about it. E3 is something I think about a lot because it's one of my goals, right? Like I had like a couple of goals when I started writing in the way long time ago. And I think E3 is the only one I can still do.
Mm-hmm.
And E3 is dying, so maybe not for long.
Hopefully you get that passport.
But yeah, no. So I think about E3 a lot, and that leads me to predictions. And then E3 is just easier to predict because, like, there are certain trends that you can always fall back on. Like, if something gets insanely popular, there's always going to be. It's safe money to bet. Oh, there's going to be like 5 to 10 of these at least at E3, because fucking nobody ever invents anything. Same thing happened with MOBAs. But yeah, E3 is just easier to predict. 2019, I don't know. Like, I mean, there's the easy shit. There's probably going to be a handful of more Battle Royale games, and they're probably eventually going to stop or slow down the same way MOBAs did. Nobody really makes those anymore outside of the mobile space. I would love to see like a full-sized, like expansion-style DLC for Spider-Man.
Because they have the small expansions that are out, right? Just a little bit of DLC.
They've got, it's like, and they're small. They take place in the same map. And it's
you're kind of thinking of like the Horizon Zero Dawn DLC, where they almost added like
they added a whole map, they added a whole area and stuff.
Map, yeah. And Sony's pretty good about doing that with their games, because they did it with Last of Us. They did it with Uncharted 4, where they
Uncharted 4 got a whole standalone game.
A whole standalone game, yeah. So they're good about that kind of stuff.
So I'd like to see that.
Spider-Man's expansion is what's that? The game that's the zombie game that's never coming out. We don't even know the fucking name of it anymore, because we still don't think it's coming out.
Days Gone.
Yeah, I call it Spider-Man Days Gone. They just
call it Dead Riding in my head.
Dead Riding. I would get that. It's like horseback riding with zombies. I'm all in for that.
But yeah, I don't really have anything else. Spider-Man expansion would be my big ask. And that game did super well, so it seems vaguely likely. I don't know, Soulja Boy console number 2 coming out.
Well, let's go back to some of the Sony stuff here, because I think this is a good one. Let's do some predictions for Sony. So with a lot of stuff. Like they've canceled PSX last year. They're not going to E3. There's a bunch of rumors that they're going to hold their own event, but that's not nothing's been confirmed. Although I think it was Sean Layden said stay tuned because he had replied back to some fan about be ready in 2019 because we will have something to say, but didn't really tell us what it was going to be. So do you think, I mean, the big rumor is, of course, the PS5, but they still have like Last of Us 2 and Death Stranding, and there's a bunch of games that they have coming, Ghost of Tsushima. Are those going to appear this year on this console, or are they going to appear on the next console?
I think it's both.
You think it's both?
I think they're going to do the. I think they're going to do the thing that tends to happen in console release years, where you get the version that's on the console that's out now, and then you get the better version on the new thing. Like that happened with what, Twilight Princess?
Yeah, Twilight Princess. Even
Breath of the Wild, technically, yeah.
I mean, that's Nintendo, not Sony, but like Sony's done that before, I think, haven't they? Like they had games that were PS1 and PS2, and everybody associates them with the PS2. They had games, I want to say, that were
I don't
PS2
think it was like dual release.
Well, there were some though. I want to say there were some. Oh god, why can't I think of the name of the games? I swear there were games that came out on PS2 and then like a month later came out on PS3 as the PS3 released.
That was, I think Black did that, right? Black did that with Xbox and Xbox 360.
Yeah, there's a couple of third parties. I'm not sure if a first party did it other than Nintendo. I guess technically you could say something like The Last of Us. They clearly knew that game was going to be coming out on PS4 when they were developing it. Also, I would think. We had mentioned consoles coming out. Do we think that there's going to be any new consoles from anybody next year?
So I don't think there'll be any new console. Well, let me take it back. I do think there'll be a new Xbox console next year or this year, 2019. Because sales, even though they kind of go up and down with Xbox, they still have they have the whole Gears of War stuff coming out. I think probably this year, but they announced a whole bunch of games for all their studio acquisitions and stuff like that for their next console. So I almost wonder, because they have supposedly 2 new consoles in the works, right? They have they're both like the next gen Xbox, but one is physical media and one is like download only. So I'm wondering if we see the sort of download only version of the Xbox One X this year as sort of like an upgraded Xbox One X, but it's strictly digital download. And then next year we get the physical, another higher end version of whatever the next Xbox is. I almost wonder if Microsoft would launch their console this year. I kind of think they almost have to, right?
So there are rumors.
Yeah.
Not from anyone reputable. We've got
from Reddit.
Well, from Reddit, but more specifically, the one I'm looking at is from The Sun, which is basically like a British tabloid type thing. But there are rumors saying 2019.
I do see it. I would almost think, just kind of back to the PlayStation stuff, PlayStation games. I could see them publishing out like Ghost of Tsushima this year, maybe another game. Not Death Stranding, but one of the other games that are, I could even see them Last of Us 2 this year.
Oh, yeah, there's a prediction. I say Death Stranding 2019.
Oh, wow. Okay, there you go. Death Stranding is this year. All right. I'm going to say those 2 games, Ghost of Tsushima and like Last of Us 2, but they will be, I could almost see a PS5 announcement at the same time as those games kind of getting firm release dates, like a PlayStation event. And then they say, buy this game now and you'll be able to play it on your PS4. But when the PS5 comes out, like all this other content gets automatically added to it. Or maybe it's like a whole new thing is unlocked or a whole new part of the experience is unlocked or whatever.
Do you think they'll sell a version of the game? Hey, pay us $10 more and you get a code that can be redeemed for this game on the new console when you buy the new console.
Yeah, like a digital
Yeah.
deluxe version that's like, oh, it's $70 or $80, and it gives you the next gen
We
version.
were just talking about that at the office yesterday. I can see gaming companies starting to do that and selling digital deluxe versions of their games, especially with new consoles rolling around where you're buying, physical media. Because I mean, the way I buy movies is I'll buy the movie for Blu-ray because I have a Blu-ray player, and then I buy the digital version because sometimes I just want to watch it on my iPhone or on Apple TV. So I can see gaming companies do something kind of similar to that, maybe with some smaller games, I don't know, but where they publish, maybe the next Gears of War shows up on a Blu-ray disc that you can pop in your Xbox One X, but yeah, you get that extra $10 and it's cross-platform. I think that's actually not a bad idea, to be honest. And you get the game both ways, and you got that code, you got that money ahead of time for the PS5 and the Xbox One, the Xbox Two, and it's just kind of sitting there because people have paid the $10 ahead of time to get that digital deluxe version.
Yeah, it's weird, I think, talking about these consoles because we don't know in what way they're going to like aggressively market them. Like last generation, at least the Xbox attempted to be this purely digital, like aggressive non-physical media like piece of hardware. And Microsoft's working on 2 different versions of whatever the next Xbox is, or more even versions of it. And the rumor is that one of them is the digital only platform.
Sure.
We don't know if they're really going to full on dedicate to this digital, or if they are going to go optical media still at any point.
I can see a cheaper version that's just digital media.
So yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't know how, like, this one, like, we know that digital only fight is happening this time, or like a more digital aggressive platform is happening this time. I guess I don't know how we know, or how they're going to market it. We don't know. Microsoft's very clear that new consoles are coming. You just assume it's with Sony. How are we going to market these consoles? Do we know if they're not coming out this year? Do we then expect that it's holiday next year, or is it a closer like February, March release? We've never seen a console then, I don't think, but other than maybe something like the Ouya.
Well, we saw the Switch in a March release.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I guess we did. We did see a March release.
End of the fiscal year, it seems to work.
So do we see that with these consoles?
I think we do.
Yeah, I think this is just a much more aggressive shakeup of how you market these machines, or how you deliver these machines to the market. What's weird is I don't think there will be any discussion this time that consoles are dead.
Right.
The last time. And what does that mean? Like, what does that mean for an industry that's not afraid for itself, and an industry that's like, it's not going to be the bubble where there's constant updates or something and the community dies out, but the community knows that there's something new coming. How do you support that while also keeping what is still a very strong console business right now strong through to that release?
Do you think, with how Microsoft's been pushing into, the Windows Store and PC releases and Play Anywhere, or whatever their particular service is called, because I don't think theirs is Play Anywhere, you think they just start doing like, yeah, if you buy this game and attach it to your Microsoft account, you can play a version of the game on whichever console you have, and the version might be different on the new console. It might look better. There might be HD or textures or whatever, but you think they just sell one version of the game? Like, do you think they go all the way in on that? And
it's charge. Well, you have to charge more because you got several development teams working on that thing. So I could see totally that happening. It kind of seems like the logical step for Microsoft, especially because they do have PC. You already kind of do that if you buy the game digitally through Microsoft, right? You get it on if you buy Forza 4, you have it to play on a PC and on a console if it's digital. But I could see that spilling over to retail, and maybe even like their streaming stuff. That could potentially work as well.
Yeah, if Microsoft's making that digital only machine, I gotta think that Game Pass is, you'd probably get a free month of it bundled with the thing. If it's not the biggest feature of the console, I would be surprised. And it's interesting, I actually talked about this with a friend, is Sony this generation started with the PlayStation Now, where it was a streaming service that now allows certain downloads of certain titles. and technically they've had PlayStation View, even though it's different services. Where Microsoft with Game Pass was a download thing first, and they're now. I'm not sure if they're doing streaming or if they were.
Well, not yet, but they've almost talked about a whole separate streaming service.
Yeah. So like those type of things, could be taken into the next generation, backwards compatibility, all that type of stuff. But that could be years past 2019. So if we don't think consoles are happening for 2019, I guess we already talked about some of Sony's stuff. What is some of Microsoft's stuff that is going to hold us through? Because right now we have Halo Infinite, which they've said is Xbox One. So at least some version of that game is coming out for Xbox One. I wouldn't be surprised.
Gears, the Funko Pop Gears, but isn't that mobile?
Yeah, I think that has to be mobile.
Well, they announced like 3 different Gears things, didn't they?
Yeah, the tactics game as well, the PC tactics game, and the more traditional first-person game. I think that one, or the third person. I think that game is coming out this year. I'm actually surprised that it didn't get a more firm release date recently, like at their Xbox event in November, whatever that was. Well, but I can see that coming out like in May, to be honest.
Given how many times Crackdown's been pushed, I'm not surprised that they're not giving firm release dates out this far out.
Yeah, right.
You think that game finally comes out? Or you think it gets pushed?
Crackdown?
Yeah, because
didn't it get pulled ahead like a week or something?
Yeah, I think Crackdown's ready to go. I think that game has been in polish for probably the last couple months.
I think it's as polished as it's ever going to get, and they just want to get it out the door so they can actually work on another Crackdown, because they've probably got so many licenses and likenesses tied to this game that they're just trying to fulfill contracts at this point, get that game out, and then they're probably already working on Crackdown 4.
Does somebody want to pull up a list of games that come out in February? We should play the roulette game of what we think is getting pushed.
I'm looking at it. Okay, yeah, you got it. Okay.
I mean, I could have done it too, I guess. I just asked both of you to do it.
You're delegating. All right, so I'm on the Wikipedia games in 2019 list. So for February. So how are we doing this? Going to just read these out?
Just rattle off the games you think. Well, I guess just rattle off the games.
There's not that many. So we're looking at Ace Combat 7: Skies Unknown on Windows.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Blaze Blue: Central Fiction on Nintendo Switch. God Eater 3 on Windows and PS4.
God Eater 3? I haven't seen anything on God Eater.
Yeah, I haven't heard a word of that game since God Eater 2. But
is it already out in Japan though? That might be.
It might be. I think it might be.
Check for you. It came out. First release was February. Oh no. God Eater 3. I don't know. First teaser trailer September 17th, 2016. Second teaser trailer March 30th, 2017. Announcement trailer October 7th, 2017. The game is set to release in Japan on December 13th, 2018. So I guess it came out last month.
Okay. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. Trials Rising, Windows, Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One. That'll come out.
That'll come
out. Crackdown 3.
February 15th.
Yeah. February 15th, the big day. Crackdown 3, Windows and Xbox One. I don't think it's coming out. Dead or Alive 6, Windows, PS4, Xbox One. Far Cry New Dawn, Windows, PS4, Xbox One. Jump Force, which I'm personally very excited for.
Are you really?
Yeah,
dude. I'm not excited about it at all.
I want to play it so bad. Windows, PS4, and Xbox One.
Jump Force looked exactly like Pokken Tournament at E3. I didn't play it because I was like, oh man, I kind of want to check that out. And I like anime. And I walked over and it just looked exactly like Pokken. I'm like, I'll just play Pokken.
So I have a little news roundup here. And I actually have an entry in for that, and all it says is Jump Force has a Soul Calibur 6 looking character creator, and then the one note I have attached to that says, "Now I can make myself and hang out with my boy Monkey D. Luffy."
There you go. There's one more game that day, right?
There is Metro Exodus, Windows, PS4, Xbox One.
I don't know if that game's coming out.
I think Metro got delayed actually, or did it get delayed to then?
I want to say it got delayed to then. That game was looking rough.
It was going to be this year. It was supposed to be this year.
That's supposed to be a more like open world Metro game, right? Or am I not like open world, but like more open environments?
Yeah.
I don't
Cool
know.
February. Well, let's hope you
That's
don't.
only- that's
Oh,
only
there's
half.
more. Oh shit, there's a lot more.
Those last 5 or 6 were all on the same day.
Yeah.
Well,
Crackdown 3 to Metro Exodus are like February 15th.
wait, wasn't Kingdom Hearts on that list? Did you say Kingdom Hearts?
Kingdom Hearts is January. It's like in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
January 29th.
Huh. I
Yeah.
thought that was the February 22nd like release hole.
Nope. January 20. Oh, so February 22nd. Well, February 19th is 8-Bit Adventure Steins Gate, Death End Re semicolon Quest, Steins Gate Elite, Steins Gate Linear Bounded Phenogram. The 21st is Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy, and then the 22nd of February is Anthem.
Anthem. Yep.
Oh boy, did anybody play that beta?
No. A friend of mine did, and they said it felt okay.
I like mechs, so I'm in.
You like Max, exactly. So yeah, Anthem, and then I think Left Alive is actually
Left Alive is the 26th.
26th. But so I honestly think Metro Exodus might get pushed back. I thought there would be a lot more, but I think it looks like everybody cleared out for Anthem. However, you look at January, and next week you got Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe. You got Tales of Vesperia, Definitive Edition. You have Walking Dead Final Season Episode 3 on the 15th. Yakuza 4 on the 17th. Ace Combat 7 and Travis Strikes Again. No More Heroes are both on the 18th. Life is Strange 2 Episode 2 on the 24th. Resident Evil 2 on the 25th. Kingdom Hearts 3 on the 29th. So you got quite a bit of games in January coming out. But yeah, and then really you go to March and
That's not a lot.
Not a lot. So I could see one of those games one of those 5 games getting pushed out to March. I mean, you really have Devil May Cry 5 and Division 2. I think it's basically, I mean, Sekiro is in there, but that's at the end of the month. So interesting. Yeah. Days Gone is still listed for April 26th.
Not a fucking chance. There's no way.
Days Gone should just come out 420 or be listed for 420. And then the day you go to the store and you're like, yeah, Days Gone comes out, and they just go, no.
Team Sonic Racing is listed for May 21st.
Yeah, that got pushed back a ton.
Yeah. I thought that was originally supposed to come out this month.
Yeah, it was November, and then it got pushed to January and then to May. So something must be changing in that game. But
maybe they realized they could never live up to its predecessor.
Oh, that one was awesome.
Well, the entire shtick of that game is there was an indie game that came out last year, Trailblazers, that did the exact same thing, and it was not good. And it looked just as not good in Sonic Racing.
Yep. So, like other games that are there's a ton of games scheduled to come out next year, right?
This year.
I'm sorry. Wow, shit.
I know it's weird. Welcome to 2019.
Welcome to 2019 because we're team players. So we talked a little about those February games. What other? I mean, there's like you have a bunch of Nintendo games that are supposedly coming out this year. You have the Gears game. I mean, they didn't really give a full date, but that's coming out this year.
Final Fantasy VII coming out this year.
New trailer for Final Fantasy in
No. This is the original Final Fantasy VII coming to Switch and Xbox One.
Yeah, the PC remake has ported to mobile and then ported to Switch.
Yep. But you also have the other Final Fantasy games, which I'm actually dope. I'm so excited for Final Fantasy IX on the Switch. So give me that. You got the Fire Emblem. You got Dreams. Is apparently still a game that's coming out at some point.
Monster Hunter World's getting an expansion this year?
Yeah, it's getting an expansion this year.
That doesn't surprise me. That game will have been out for a year. That game came out pretty early 2018, right?
Well, they've been doing those seasonal events, but I didn't know that they were planning on doing like big DLC chunks.
Oh, you got Wolfenstein Youngblood. Yakuza 5 is supposedly coming out in Q1 or Q2 or something. Yoshi. There's quite a few actually. Outer Worlds. That's the that's
the
Obsidian
thing. Yeah.
If we want to talk about things we haven't seen much of from Nintendo, Animal Crossing is potentially 2019.
It still is. They dropped that date on there. Yeah.
I mean, there's been the running rumor for a while that we will probably get a direct sooner rather than later.
Supposedly early next week.
Ooh.
Or mid next week. Sorry, on the.
What are they going to make a
I
direct
hear the
about now
10th.
that Smash is out?
Dally, was that a world exclusive?
World exclusive. It's world. Well, you're gonna get the direct like the day before New Super Mario Brothers U. So that's the 11th. So the 10th. You'll get the direct on the 10th, which will drop information on. I'm guaranteeing one of these Final Fantasy remakes are going to appear that day as well.
Piranha Plant comes out that day for Smash.
Piranha Plant will come out that day. Yep. You'll get information on their. I think their big spring game is Fire Emblem for Nintendo. So I'm actually thinking that's going to come out earlier in the year. You might see Fire Emblem like an announced date for that be like March, and then you're going to get Yoshi in like February. So you might have a couple of Nintendo games, and then like you still got Luigi's Mansion 3 coming out. You supposedly, I mean, Metroid's still out there, but Mario Kart Tour is supposed to come out before April. So you got that coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Luigi,
yeah, Luigi's Mansion 3. Yeah,
you guys hear the news?
What's that?
Nintendo came out and they officially put the kibosh on Bowsette.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah.
So they came out. They came out and they released a statement saying that the only person who can wear the crown is Toadette. But the statement then at the end in brackets says, "Sorry, Luigi, only Toadette can use this item." And it's like, wait, what's Luigi up to?
So wait, no, I think that's just verification that Reggie's just into like sexy Luigi.
Might be. Yeah.
Well, I mean, think about it though, because if the crown turns you into Peach, is Luigi like trying to turn into Peach and seduce his brother?
Okay, maybe.
Like what's going on?
What if his brother? What if this is like Game of Thrones level craziness?
What's going on, Luigi?
What's up, Luigi?
It's a safe space, Luigi. You can talk to me.
Yeah, I think Animal Crossing drops this year. I think that's probably your safe, like, if it's not the August game, it's the beginning of summer game.
Animal Crossing? Maybe. I mean, that would be a great game on vacation over the summer.
That's my only thing.
Travel, yeah, you're right.
I could be wrong, and I'm going to Google it before I make the statement. But I think New Leaf came out in spring, didn't it?
Well, I am checking right now. Animal Crossing New Leaf arrive in November 8th.
November 8th.
It's not spring.
Great holiday game. What a great holiday game it will be on November 8th, 2019.
It'll be the holidays, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe, I guess personally for me, I guess it just feels like a spring game. So yeah, my guess would probably we see Animal Crossing August. But yeah, Fire Emblem is probably going to be their spring thing. Luigi's Mansion hopefully is this year. I could see Luigi's Mansion not being this year.
I can see that this year. I can see it October. I mean, you could potentially have you're going to have Animal Crossing this year because they said as much. You're going to have, I think Luigi's Mansion, they did say 2019 because that was, I think so, right? That was in the press in their video. And then you got the Pokemon game. So Pokemon's going to sell a ton because Let's Go Pokemon, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee sold bajillions. So you'll have those 3 games in the fall already. So
you don't think we're going to see Metroid this year at all? You don't think Metroid's coming out 2019?
Man, what's crazy is I actually think like if it doesn't come out this year, it's a fantastic game to put up against a PS5 and an Xbox 2. If you throw out a Metroid Prime and then also throw out, I actually do think Splatoon 3 is going to come out in 2020. I think they're actually working towards that. I wouldn't be surprised though if, so Splatoon 3 I think has been like, Splatoon 2 is all done. They're just kind of like, this is the last big Splatfest is this weekend, and they're done updating it. They're just kind of doing some balance tweaks for the next few months here. So they're full steam ahead on Splatoon 3, and that is the biggest Switch game. It's bigger than Smash Brothers right now still, I think. So it might actually be the biggest IP currently in Japan, like Splatoon. So I think they're working on Splatoon 3, and you could see Metroid and Splatoon 3 and something Mario coming out in 2020. I could really see those 3 games popping out in 2020 to combat the next gen consoles. So
yeah, I guess weirdly for me, I don't see them wanting Splatoon and Metroid in the same year, only because they're shooters. And yes, they're completely like different shooters, but they are still that sort of like. Well, I guess Splatoon though isn't considered like a hardcore game.
No.
Really, it's more of a casual game.
It's casual. It's very family friendly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess for me, I'm trying to figure out what fits in like the Smash slot because Nintendo's very good about.
Yeah, I could see an ARMS 2 coming out.
I don't know. I think the decision to not put any ARMS characters in Smash Brothers speaks volumes.
As playable.
As playable, but I think that speaks volume to the thought of like what they think about ARMS and how well it did. Because you would think like they would put the fighting game character into their other fighting game.
They're like stickers or spirits or something, aren't they?
Yeah, I think Springman and Spring Girl are both an assist trophy in the game, but I'm not sure on that. And I think they're also Mii clothing options.
Sure. I mean, ARMS has sold over since July of this year. It's sold over 2 million. So it's not too bad, I guess. Meanwhile, so you have games like Super Mario Odyssey, which is 12 We could potentially see a Mario Odyssey expansion this year because everyone kept talking about it. You could do a smallish like 8-hour, 12-hour, 16-hour expansion with just a few.
If they did a local like 2-player mode, anything like you had one world and you make the rest of the game accessible 2-player co-op, maybe do some story remix stuff with like Luigi or something, I'm on board. You release Super Mario World, whatever the Wii U one that allowed 4-player co-op. You give me any form of that on the Switch, I'm also on board. We've talked about this, Nintendo.
You know what? That's actually a great one. I think they will re-release that this year. I think that's the only re-release they've announced is New Super Mario Bros. U, right? So I can see them re-releasing 3D World and Tokyo Mirage Sessions. That game needs to come out.
Yeah, they're sitting on that game. That game would do well.
Another game that could do really well. All right, here, you got Wonderful 101 that's just begging to come out. So that's got to happen this year, right? Pikmin 4. They have not talked about Pikmin 4. And then you got Bayonetta 3, which could also come out this year.
Yeah, Nintendo's got some stuff that can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, even with the stuff that we haven't really talked about, there's that mech game. That looks like pretty good. That's a co-op game.
Demon X Machina,
I mean, there's the rumors of these
Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yeah. There's rumors of the Star Fox like racer or stuff.
There's the Mario Maker rumors that won't die.
Yeah, Nintendo could have a very good year and then could possibly also have a very good looking 2020 already in 2019.
Yeah. I mean, like I said,
I mean, there's technically been the rumors of that they might release like the HD version of the Switch, right? Or like
Yep, the Pro, Switch Pro.
Yeah, more like maybe a bigger tablet, bigger controllers. Like
I don't think that'll I know that would make Aaron super happy. But I don't think a larger Switch is going to happen. I think if anything, you'll get a Switch with a nicer screen and a longer battery life. To be honest, I think a Switch Lite could happen with the controllers not removable. I think we talked about this before, right? You can have a Switch without removable controllers, and it's just made for more of like indie style games or
and you could put it on the floor and you could tee it up for some golf.
Yeah. Although one thing that could happen that I think is really awesome is a new Game Boy, right? So first of all, I think Nintendo's going to release the Game Boy Classic this year because you don't need any more console classics because as we've seen with the PlayStation Classic, that generation of games look like shit on consoles.
I think it's already been marked down by like 50% everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
I think it's 60. Oh, sorry. I keep cutting everybody off. I'm sorry. My internet sucks.
I think it's too. My internet sucks. Sorry for being a dick. My internet sucks.
I start talking and then you're like midway through a sentence. And I'm like, no, I'm that guy.
It's all right.
I think at this point, if you wanted to do like a Nintendo Classic and it's like a collection of some of the disc-based stuff, like from, I think at any point these classic consoles are going are going to be hacked, and that's just a sheer fact of it. And Sony clearly didn't care. They didn't even bother covering any of their stuff internally in the machine. But yeah, I don't know. A Game Boy Classic would be cool, though. It would just be one of those.
Classic would be awesome. It would be one of the. It could be like the Game Boy Micro, right? They had that, or not the Micro. They had the Game Boy Pocket, right? Give me that Game Boy Pocket style Game Boy, because you're gonna need to put a new LCD screen in there. So this thing will probably cost. I wouldn't be surprised if it costs like $100, $99. But you'll get an LCD screen in that, like a nice color LCD screen, and you'll probably be able to switch between the green and the yucky green Game Boy original visuals, the black and white visuals that I think they were somewhere, and then the color Game Boy Color version visuals. You could switch between all those, and then load it up with like 30 games. I think you sold me $100. I'm ready to throw at you. That's pretty badass. That would be awesome to have.
Do you think it'll just be normal Game Boy games, or will it be like Game Boy Advance games and stuff?
I think it's normal Game Boy games, because you only need a couple buttons with that thing. It's pretty cheap to manufacture, but holy shit, that would be the thing about the NES Classic and the Super NES Classic is that you had one per, like, let's say you have one per household, right? Or one per a few households. So that thing was mostly played by us when people came over, because everyone wanted to kind of play the classic games. But I could see a Game Boy Classic. You could sell like one to each kid, because they're individual. You don't hook it up to the TV, and every kid wants to kind of play. I mean, shit, you can even do a weird USB connector between the two to connect Game Boy Classics to each other for multiplayer games. But you could sell one to each kid. Maybe that price is like $80, $79 or something. You could sell one to each kid at Christmas time, and that would sell I'd buy one. I'd buy one for myself and one for my daughter, just because it'd be cool little things to have. Load it up, like I said, load up with 30 or 40 games, and you're set, man.
Yeah, I don't know why it stuck in my head while you were talking about that, but in my head now, I just envision Nintendo's just going to release this year like a Nintendo Classic and then like a Nintendo Classic Portable. And it's just going to be like, it'll have like a smattering of different Nintendo games on it from all types of different generations, N64, GameCube maybe. We might be pushing
overall Nintendo Classic.
Yeah, Nintendo. And then the like portable version is just like, in my head, it's just a like maybe a little bit oversized of like a Super Nintendo controller, and then I don't know if it flips like a Game Boy Advanced SP, or if it like slides out like a what were those phones? The Sidekicks? If it like slides the screen from behind. But in my head, that's like what it is, right? That's like the Nintendo Classic, and it just allows you to play like classic Nintendo games. Fill in the blank. It could maybe even have a storefront on it if they wanted to do it.
That's what I was thinking. A portable, a new Game Boy, like a Switch Mini or something, or a Game Boy type of thing. Because Nintendo's always been that two-pronged beast, handheld and console. You could do a Switch Mini that's just, or a new Game Boy, which is just super lightweight style games. Throw like you only need like a 32 gig memory card in there, but super light games that are Unity based, and just make it like an indie console, and people would get a kick out of it. Something that you could download games over time and hook up to the web. I think that could do pretty well, and it would literally be a screen maybe no bigger than the current 3DS or the current 2DS XL screen. I mean, you don't have to do anything bigger than that.
Yeah, and people would definitely be willing to develop for it. Even thinking like something like Celeste, like in Celeste,
that'd be great.
Yeah, in Celeste you can find like a Pico version, which is not the same thing. It's not a Nintendo developed thing, but it's basically a much smaller, scaled down version of the game that would run in this Pico like fake console thing that somebody invented a while ago.
Yeah.
And that like could easily be scaled down and put onto something that
like I would love. I never want to play action games on a mobile device where I have to touch the screen to do shit, because it just doesn't feel right. But I would love to do that on a mobile device that has buttons, and you never want to do those stupid controller attachments. Nobody does that on their phones. But shit, give me something with 4 buttons on it and a D-pad, and I'm buying it. and you can sell that really cheap, and that could be Nintendo's. Maybe that is the Switch Mini. It's not even just a. It's not even a Switch. It's just its own other little console, and it could download some of the games that are on the Switch that don't require, specific Switch controls. I think you can actually do some kind of interesting stuff there.
Yeah.
Sign me up. Anyways, none of those are predictions. I think my only prediction is that Nintendo's going to get a Game Boy Classic out this year, and that'll be pretty badass.
Yeah, I think my
Tetris on it.
With Tetris. Yeah, dude. Just a Tetris device. That'd be awesome. With like a strange version of Tetris that never came out in the US as like a hidden, like we had Star Fox 2 on the Super. Give me like one of those games that never came out in the US. Or it was never released, never finished. I would totally take that. Count me in. Any other predictions for Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft? Are we gonna get the Monster Box or whatever that the Mad Cow Box? What is that company making?
The guys that make Project Cars 2.
Slightly Mad Box.
Yeah, I think they said that console's coming in 2020.
That console's not coming out. Let's not be dumb. That's gonna be a PC. I think they're just doing it so they can push.
They're just using the word console as a fake buzzword. Yeah, it's just going to be a PC.
Their concept art for it looks amazing.
It does look kind of cool. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, it looks kind of neat. It's kind of neat. It looks like they just kind of gave somebody. They're like, hey, make a console that starts with it that looks like an M and throw a logo on the side. It's like, all right, it looks like an M for Madbox. But yeah, I think it's just a piece, or like it'll be like a PC spec more than anything else.
Yeah. I think we might see another standalone VR product from somebody this year. Mm-hmm. Another aggressive stab at VR. I don't know who it'll be from, but we might see it.
You could Sony could make a standalone PSVR unit with a wireless camera or something off the side. I think that could a standalone PSVR unit could be really cool because most of the games you buy for the PSVR, you want to download anyways. You don't want to get the disc because you don't want spinning happening on while you're waiting for stuff to happen. So I could see a standalone that would replace the Vita, right?
Well, and if there was a way that you could use that to somehow transition people to the start of what VR would be in PlayStation 5, like if that kit got you halfway there, and when PlayStation VR for the next generation came out, that could pull the old headsets forward. Maybe, I don't know. Sure. There was another one I had. Don't remember. I think it'll be good overall. I think 2019 is going to be another good year for gaming.
I think 2019 is going to be a better year than 2018. I think I'm going to throw a third party thing out there. We're getting BioShock 4. I think we're going to get a new BioShock game.
Nah, you can keep it.
Go fuck yourself, Sam. New BioShock and new Dead Space. We're getting those this year.
Oh, gross. You can keep Dead Space also.
Oh, God.
BioShock I'll at least play. Dead Space, I'm not even going to pretend like I will.
I'd love both those to come back.
It might be too soon, but Dishonored? Are we doing anything in the Dishonored world?
No, but you got Wolfenstein, that expansion. You got Rage 2 is coming out this year. You're going to have the reboot of Fallout 76 happening this year. Because they're going to be like, we just got to fix this shit, guys. So
if they release Fallout 77, I will go to GameStop, buy a disc, and snap.
I think they're going to be re-releasing Fallout 76. They're probably already hard at work on it because Bethesda's not one to like have a game come out that's shit and leave it to kind of stink. So I can see. I don't
know because they ported Skyrim to so many.
That's true. They did have Wet. Wet was the Bethesda game.
That was okay.
I'm just kidding. I've just never been a big Bethesda fan. 76 being broken.
Did you just say
nothing?
Did you say Bethesda?
Bethesda, not intentionally. If I did.
Did you say not intestinal?
All right.
They got Doom Eternal coming out this year too. So somebody made a prediction that we're gonna get a big Rockstar announcement this year, not for GTA, but like I don't know, LA Noire 2 or something big. Maybe a new property.
Speaking of LA Noire 2, there's a post on Reddit titled "How many of you would like to see Rockstar make a second LA Noire?" and it has 0 upvotes and only 22 comments.
No, okay, nobody.
Nobody
I
wants
bought it for the Switch, and I'll get to it eventually. That was I liked the LA Noire is the one and only game I ever owned on OnLive because they sent us a review console, and so I plugged it in, created an account. First game I got was LA Noire, and I thought, wow, I want to see what LA Noire looks like, and it looked okay. There was like some artifacting, and then I got so bored with the interface of OnLive. I never they gave us like credits to download 5 games. Never downloaded the other 4 games just because it was not viable. It was stuttering all the time. I couldn't get the game to be, to function correctly. And I'm like, I'm not going to download another one until they fix it. And they never fixed it. And that was it. So, yeah, LA Noire. Anything else? We getting another Battlefront game or Battlefront? Is it Star Wars?
Oh, I don't think so. Nah, you might get an announcement.
Well, I mean, there's a new movie coming out, right?
Yeah.
A new Star Wars movie, so probably.
I actually think that, I think they will pump out Battlefront 3 this year because they don't have Battlefield 5. They're not. That came out in November, and they're. I think the Battle Royale mode is coming out in like March or something, and then I don't know what EA has from a single player. They got Anthem in February, but they're only going to have sports in the fall. I don't think that's enough to.
Well, not even that, because wasn't there some shit? Didn't they drop the soccer license they had or something like that?
No, that was Konami.
Yeah,
right.
been happening.
Konami dropped the ball on the soccer license. No, they'll still have that, but
they probably had some.
They actually did something smart this year. Just as an off topic, they bundled, or last year, they had a bundle of Madden and FIFA together on one package. I thought that was actually kind of an interesting sports bundle. I could see them, if they wanted to cut costs and do like light upgrades to their games for, in-betweeners, they could bundle like 2 of the games together, an NHL and a Madden, stick them together and pump them out that way.
EA's upcoming titles, as announced right now, with or without dates, are Anthem, Sea of Solitude.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order with a to be announced release.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's so maybe that game will come out.
That's that thing being made by Respawn.
Yeah, I could see that one coming out this year, actually. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Any other predictions, guys? Bloodborne 2?
I haven't played one of those since Demon's Souls. So.
That'd be cool.
Or just Demon's Souls remake.
I would not play that.
No. Even if they fix half of it. Gentlemen, thank you for an awesome Friday evening. It was good to get you back on the show, Sam.
Thank you.
Good to hear your beautiful voice.
It was good to be back here talking about the video games,
the health issues, and marriage.
The health issues, marriage. Yeah, which won't be happening in 2019. So
prediction will not be.
Well, I mean, it's not a prediction. It's to save the date, a hard 2020, but it's you gotta find what date in 2020 that date is going to be yet. People like a heads up before then.
A little bit.
By the way, I'm looking over Nintendo's lifetime sales, top selling title sales units. Do you know what their number 1 selling game on the DS is?
Kirby.
Yeah.
No, New Super Mario Brothers DS. That's the number 1. It outsold all the Pokemon games. That's 30 million copies of that game on the DS. On the Wii, it was, outside of Wii Sports, which was like basically built into every Wii. Mario Kart Wii had 37 million copies. And then Wii Sports Resort had 33 million copies. That came out like late in the Wii's lifespan too, but I think because everybody already had a Wii, it sold like bonkers. On the 3DS, Mario Kart 7, 17.5 million copies. That's still being sold everywhere. So yeah. The Wii U, Mario Kart 8. So it's like Mario Karts are sold like they're the number 1 selling things everywhere. 8.42 million copies of Mario Kart 8 were sold for the Wii U, which is, I think, maybe more than Wii U's were sold. It's actually sold 11 million copies on the Switch. So Mario Kart 8, which appeared on the Wii U, sold 8.4 million. Mario Kart 8 on the Switch sold 11 million. So that tells you something. It's pretty bonkers. All right, gentlemen, that's it. We did it. We finished it. You can find me at Dolly Demoffs. You can find the site at SideQuesting, sidequesting.com, SideQuesting TV all over the place. Find us on Facebook because we actually post our videos on there now as well, and it seems to get some good viewers. Sam, where can we find you when you're not keeled over in pain or don't have things prodding you all over the place?
You can find me at SamDI79 on Twitter. One of my New Year's resolutions, I guess, if that's a thing, is to actively use that social media platform.
Is to double your tweets
so much
per month.
Yes, it's to double my tweets. Actually, that would be a marked improvement.
Actually, you tweeted at me in DM far more than you've actually tweeted anywhere else.
I talk in DM all the time, man. Twitter is a social platform that I just don't shout into the void that everybody else does.
Good man.
I walk over to the side of the cafeteria you're sitting on, and I have a conversation with you, as opposed to sitting at the cafeteria and going, "Hey, look at this! Hey, don't you think this is cool?" I'm not making fun of anybody that uses Twitter. I just don't like doing that. Usually because like I just want to shout things that other people shout, and I feel bad that like I'm already shouting what they're shouting, and I'm like, okay, well I'll hit like, or I'll do
hit like and subscribe.
What the millennials are doing nowadays, because liking things, people can see your likes. Or did they roll that back? Doesn't matter if they did or not.
Still see it.
I learned that if you send post through a direct message to yourself, it's like liking something, but the world doesn't have to know about it.
That's not a bad idea. I'm gonna start doing that.
The only thing is like the person that like created it doesn't get that like on their platform, so like that kind of sucks. So maybe do that, then make a fake account and go through and like all those posts with that fake account. But then why don't you just have a fake account to like things? So I don't know. The person who posts to Twitter once a month, if that, clearly doesn't know how to use Twitter the best way possible. So if you have advice, don't tweet it at me. Maybe leave it in the comments of this video.
That works.
And then I can learn because I'm an old man.
Aaron, where can we find you, other old man?
Yeah, you can find me Twitter, Twitch at ScottyBones. I'll have something up on the site soon talking about that game I mentioned. And later this month, I'm going to be probably somewhat active daily streaming Eco.
Nice.
For at least an hour every day, but probably for several.
Hey, sounds like you might see me in some of those streams because I'm super interested in this game and I already have an account, so I might see you there.
You made your account during the process of this podcast. I
just had to enter an email address.
Okay, all right. Good. I might have to do that then. Is it available for Mac? It looks like it. Yeah.
There is a Mac client. Yes. The last time I looked into it.
Also for Linux apparently, but single player is not yet supported.
Got it.
The last time I looked into it specifically for Mac, it was available as a version point like 0.5 or whatever, but people were reporting graphical issues.
Okay.
I don't know if they've been fixed. It's several versions later.
Anything else, gents? Aaron, you told us where we can find you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it.
How do you guys feel about Ellie? You guys read about this?
No, the game?
No, the female pro Overwatch player who turns out was a dude.
No, I did not read about this.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. There's big drama in the Overwatch community.
Looks like we'll be catching up on that now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Have a beautiful evening. See you, everybody. Bye.
Bye, friends.